Hey guys, today we're going to be looking at the Transformers Titans Return Sentinel Prime, and here he is. We're starting with his Battle Train mode, and I absolutely love this thing. It just looks so cool. First off, love how well sculpted the front or back or whatever of the train is. Just looks so cool. All the ladders and doors and everything. And even though it's done in this Games Workshop gray, I can still really see, obviously the camera can pick it up a bit better than my eyes can, but I can still see all the details really, really well. It would have been nice if it could have been like panel lined or that like whitewashing, like blackwashing, how it gets, you put the like wet paint over it and then wipe it off. Would have been way better if you did that, but I don't think that would be possible. I do wish that these wheels were painted just like these ones, but it's not that big a deal, but it is nice to have that. Do like these big rollers, so he doesn't roll super well, he more slides, but he can at least still do it. They didn't just give up, but all this detail up here is basically the same, and on the opposite side, just with some screw holes and everything. Do love these big turrets, just further defining that it's not just a big enormous train that can like pull down like a country, but I just absolutely love this. It looks incredible, it looks awesome. And then the big cockpit up here, we can take out his Titan Master, and his Titan Master is pretty just bland. Mine has always been loose here at the hips, but it's okay. But he's just a little guy. He has a tiny bit of paint. I can barely see it. You guys can probably barely see it too. The tiny bit of paint from the mouth plate. But I guess, I don't really know IDW too much, but I guess this is actually Sentinel Prime, not this. I think, but I might be completely wrong. But we'll just put him off to the side because really all he's going to do is just that. So we're going to put him off to the side no matter what, and not really touch him until we get to robot mode, because he's going to go in the exact same cockpit for his shuttle mode. But I really like this mode. I think personally it's one of my favorite modes. I think it is my favorite mode just because it's really, really cool, and how the wings of the shuttle just sort of meld into it. And I don't really know, I just really, really like it. It's just a lot of fun. So that's really it for it. Can't really do too much. I wish it would be really nice if the turrets could swivel, but I think that's asking a lot for a Voyager that's, nearly a decade old, I think. But yeah, he's still a really nice toy. Really, really like him. So let's go ahead and put him into his shuttle mode. So gonna be pretty simple. We will undo, and this mode works very similarly to Transformers Cybertron Mud Flap, obviously with a couple of different things, but we will disconnect these pieces from these pieces, and we will flip up these panels like so to clean them out. Same thing over here, and then we will do the exact same thing on the opposite side, like so. And now we bring them down, similar to Cybertron Mud Flap, and we will need to open these up and flip out feet, or these will become the feet, but these will also become the front of the shuttle, like so. And then they can peg together like that on both sides and have everything nice and tight. These do tab in, these panels, they tab in that sort of like little, I don't know, like square looking piece. And then these ones tab into some slots on like his like waist or whatever. But then we'll take the wings and fold them up, and then obviously you can see his chest there. These will get out of the way and just bring to the side, flip them upside down, and we will swing that out, rotate it, and now you have these tabs that will go into some slot here on the arms, or I don't know where exactly they go. I can't remember. It's been a long time since I have messed around and played with this toy. It's this slot and this tab. Not this tab. This tab. The one that's perpendicular to this one. Let's bring that down, and it will tab right in, like so. Show you again on this side. Tab in right there. And now get everything situated underneath those panels. And you probably could have, I probably should have just pulled those up, but you know, there's enough flex and everything, you can just bend it. And then these fins, you can do whatever you want. You can keep them up like this, you can angle them like I had in the battle train mode, or if you want them all the way down, you can have them like that. And I think they're all just on like friction hinges, so if you want them off, you can take them off. And then obviously you can put the Titan Master right there. And here it is. And you know, this is why I, you know, like, you can see how he's gonna work from here on out. But I still really like him. This cockpit, I really like how it's just like, it's sort of like one of those like domes or whatever. It reminds me of those domes that like people live in, you know, because of all the intricate panel lines and the windows and everything. Yeah, I just really like it. Love the Autobot symbols with the silver outline. You could probably see this one a bit better with a silver outline rather than just a pure white outline. I do really like that. Love how the cockpit like pierces with this one more. I think it's because this yellow is exposed. The yellow seems to pop a bit more in this mode. I don't know. I really like it. But for landing gear, you get this little skid down here, and then up here at his chest, you get these two little pieces. And now he has some landing gear that can pull him up like the tiniest bit up off the ground, or up off the table, or whatever you have him on. So, but you do have that option. Obviously, you get the same guns on the side, and then you have his weapons. I can't remember where I put the other gun, so we just have this, like, you know, the malformed Titan Master ones. But you have some ports. You have a port there, and then you have a port there, and nothing on then the ports on the wings. So you can put this wherever you want to, but we'll just save that for his robot mode. But yeah, it's an okay shuttle mode. It's pretty easy to get there. I still personally think the battle train is the better mode than this. A lot of people, they have this guy and they like to have him as the Autobot shuttle from Transformers the movie, and I can definitely see that, or one of the many shuttles that are in the movie. I can definitely see that. But he's just, this mode's just okay. It's not the greatest, but it's okay, and I'm not gonna hate on it that much. I still like it. It still has some like nice colors, especially like how these like make like stripes, sort of. I don't really know. Just, I like it, but it's still not my favorite. So let's go into his robot mode, which of course we're not too far away. That's why I started with the battle train. We will take the landing gear and fold it up, and then we will just undo these panels like so. And then we will undo the wings before we start with these panels. And these tabs, at least on mine, are just really tight. And they always have been. So I've always had I don't think I've ever, if I remember correctly, I've never just pushed them all the way in. I don't know why I made the exception today. But use this little knife as a part separator. And it does help that these are somewhat like flexible wings. They're not completely hard plastic. But this tab is really fighting me. There. But you can see how much it sort of flexes. It's more of a flexible plastic than the hard, rigid plastic of this arm. And now we can just get this out of the way so we can untab these. And you can see that little tab right there. Little tab again. Little tab right there. And now we can split the legs. And I can't remember if, I'm pretty sure you use the like shuttle for the shuttle end for the foot. I'm pretty sure. But I may be wrong. I can't remember. So then you just flip them out. And then you can just bring this down. And then obviously raise the camera really quick so you can see. Raise it up. Obviously, and now these are on, the wings are on double hinges, so you can do sort of whatever you want with them. If you want them like that, or you want them like this. I'm just going to do this right now. And now just get him all situated. And this is one of the toughest things ever, is I don't know why. Mine, the fists are so tight in there that they just hate coming out. I have no clue why. I feel like they used to be easier to come out, but I just cannot remember. But no matter what, they're tight now, and it's just a pain, and I just need a tool to get them out. Because they are so tight. This one, it wasn't too bad. But this one definitely was a fight. But you just fold his hands out, and here he is. And then now, we can take our Titan Master, which, you just simply fold in half, and plug him in. And there he is. And we'll just do it really quick to show off the gimmick. Pull up those things. So yeah, here he is. And I really like him. I really like the orange. It's the detailing, like here on the arms, is defined enough that I don't need, I can see it really nicely without having a bunch of paint on him or detailing, because there's just enough to break him up with the gray, and then these yellow bits right there, and then these little silver bits down here. He doesn't have a lot of silver. I wish he did have a bit more of this like silver that's here in these like little recesses. But it's okay. He cleans up pretty nicely. But there's not too much to him, so those wings are more of a silhouette than kibble, I would say. But yeah, I really like him. Obviously, you only get the tiny little bit of articulation if you have the like shoulder pylons out. But if you push them back down, you get the full rotation and movement from the Titan Master's head. And then he has like universal shoulders, bicep swivel, above 90-degree bend at the elbow. Mine's a little loose. I think both of them. No, that one's a little tighter. And obviously no waist swivel, because he basically transforms like Cybertron mud flaps, so he needs his waist to split apart. He has ratchets in his knees. They're not the best feeling ratchets, but they're there. Thigh swivel, and then he has a knee. And I guess you could count this as a foot tilt or a toe tilt, whatever you want to say. But yeah, he still is really fun, really nice. Really the only thing that I would really want, and obviously you can take his gun and put it in his hand. Really, the only thing that I would really want from this guy is mine is a little loose. He's gone a little loose over time, but given the quality of like plastic and things, and some of the QC of the Prime Wars trilogy, what can you expect? Just sometimes you're gonna get what you get. And I didn't know that he had ratcheted hips. It's been a long time, outward hips, but given the quality of plastic and probably like QC and everything of the time, I can let it slide. But he's a really nice, fun toy. I do really like him. He still is a lot of fun. I think if he had a little bit more silver, just to make him maybe pop a bit more, even though he's like all orange, and he's like probably going to be one of the first toys that someone sees and gravitates towards, because he's such a loud color. But still, he's just has a tiny couple of things, but he is really fun. A tiny little things, just more of the looseness of him. Like, I've seen him like fall over and things, but that's potentially my copy, degrading and breaking down over time. But overall, I still really like him. He's a lot of fun. I love the battle train mode for how stupid and like gaudy it is. The shuttle mode is just okay, more of just like an obligatory thing, or more of like an IDW thing. I don't know what he transformed in IDW, but I would just say that the shuttle mode is definitely probably his real mode and not the battle train. But definitely, it's still an okay mode, just a bit more too easy or simple. But really, you can't take something that's super long and turn it into something that's super flat without giving it a lot of what the robot already does. And then the robot I really like. He looks really nice. The detailing doesn't get washed out from this sort of really orange plastic. He's really nice. I don't know how much he goes for. I can't imagine a whole lot just because he's, I think he was like an earlier wave toy. But I really don't know. If you're into the character, I would really recommend him. If you're into something a little bit interesting, I would really recommend him. And obviously, if you're a completionist for Titans Return or the Prime Wars trilogy, you're going to have to get him. But so I would recommend him because he is still a lot of fun and I do really, really like him. But other than that, he's just sort of a mediocre guy. And I just have a couple cool things to say about him, like the battle train. That's really what defines this guy for me, is his train mode. Because all my favorite designs and concepts come from that mode and are put into this one, like the forearm turrets and everything. That's really cool. I really like that. But yeah, that's really all I have to say. So, until next time, see ya.